So for starters, I appreciate each and every one of you that leaves questions in the comments here because that inspires a lot of new videos. And at least once a month, I like to do a quick Q&A and go through a bunch of them. We got a great question. Oh, by the way, drop a like down below. We got a great question right here. I'm gonna screenshot these and throw these up for you. Dylan Savage Squad. I like the name, I like it. And he got a like on his comment, all right? Said, if you see this comment, can you please help me out? I've wanted to edit the web event configurations and it's told me to value optimize turned on for my pixel until my pixel, it is, okay, the phrasing here is a little off, but anyways, I already pre-read this question. Basically on Facebook, when they're telling you don't optimize for purchase because you don't have X amount of sales, keep in mind, Facebook does 100 different things, realistically it's probably like 6 or 7, that purposefully try to screw you over. Now, if your Facebook strategy requires you to not optimize for purchase, then that's a completely separate thing. Wherever you learn from, whatever courses you went through, whoever you're learning from, if that's the strategy, then rock with that. You know, there was a 2-year window where I would never start with purchase because I wanted to start building data in a specific way and it worked very well, right? That's not the case anymore. So just because Facebook says you can't and should not target purchase conversion, and it says, and this is what Dylan was saying, he says, what should I do? Because when I optimize for purchase, it says I'll get 0 sales. It's completely false. That's just their recommendation. It's not like they're gonna prohibit you and inhibit you, I guess, from from getting a sale, right? So you can most definitely still get sales. In fact, we start new clients out and each one of them, like for all of our clients that have no sales, they've never done e-commerce, the clients inside of our agency who wanna start from scratch, we're doing purchase optimization, right? Because that's the shortest point. What's the shortest point? What's the shortest distance between 2 points? You just go directly at it, right? A to B. So we used to go A, B, C, D and like get to purchase, but you just go direct to those points in a straight line. So that's kind of the typical format that we start. Great question though, in terms of Facebook, because a lot of people get thrown off by that. And just because Facebook recommends something, they do a lot of things. They try to automatically check certain boxes that definitely should not be checked. Those are just reasons why you need help and why you need awareness from videos like this, from courses. You know, we have our one Facebook ad program. That's where we show ads in depth, live. It's the only spot, and that's something that people can use. So another phenomenal question on these videos, and by the way, again, I do appreciate every single one asking these. Someone asked, is $6,000 a good budget to start with your agency, but have to start everything from scratch? So basically the question here is $6,000 enough to start an e-commerce business? Now, when I first started, this little infamous story I've told a few times, I had $5,000. That was a lot of money. That took me a little while to save up. You know, I was making $1,000 to $2,000 a month. I had a little bit of expenses. I was spending a lot of it traveling just to meet more people. However, $6,000 can definitely work. I've seen people do it with less than 1,000. I always recommend at least a couple thousand. Now, from an agency perspective, inside of our advertising agency, we have a base retainer. So for clients who are starting from complete scratch, we do all the product testing, all the research. And any client, no matter if they're scaling clients, paying us $6,000, $7,000, $8,000 a month in a retainer, it's always based off the amount of people that we have inside of our company working on it, because the retainer is not where we make our money as an agency. The retainer just covers all the employee costs, right? So for our 14 different media buyers, 3 of which are on the scaling team, our website developers, people who help handle, you know, getting people hooked up with processors, getting people hooked up with our supplier, the client managers, everything, right? It's a whole system. So we attempt to cover a large portion of our cost as a company with just a retainer. So from a beginner retainer, we charge about $1,200. It can vary depending on exactly what we're doing. But so the question here really is $6,000 enough to do that? And I would say that you're vastly ahead of a lot of people who do start with our agency. We recommend at least that $1,200 plus $2,000 for ads. That's a great way to get things going. But keep in mind, a lot of people, and this is the whole statistic about how 90% of online businesses fail within the first 180 days. And I think it's more. But people don't treat it like a real business. Like, people come to us with $400, oh, why can't you make it work, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, dude, you're trying to have us completely start a business for you from scratch. Like, do you know what that takes to do? I mean, it is a pain in the, you know what, to start an e-commerce store from scratch. Yet it's a service we offer because for the X amount of clients that either stick with us long enough to find that winner and then we can scale it, or who find one quickly and just want to rock with it and they're dedicated, well, we make our money as an agency by taking a percentage of the profits. Right, so we lose money on the front end. We attempt to make it up with the retainer. We don't, probably come close to 85, 90% of our costs, which is great, you know, but it's the percentages and those clients you see who are doing $500,000 a month with 180,000 profit, and we take a chunk of that. I mean, that's blows anything else out of the water, right? So great question, and that is something that's a great point. I always recommend, depending on the route that you want to take, because if you're trying to like go through a couple different courses and programs you want to learn, at least a couple grand for ads. If you want our agency to do it, we're super efficient with testing products, but we're also very conservative with the numbers we give you. So we want to make sure we have a very long runway, and that's super important. And you guys can find more about that. I'll leave it top link in the description. You can book a call, talk to someone inside of our agency. So it's pretty, it's pretty solid. So another one inside of here, this is a solid question. There's a lot, I probably get, I would say 10 to 20 questions a day just on YouTube. And there's probably another 50 over on the Ecom Season Instagram, by the way. So if you have a question that you directly want answered and not addressed in a video, that's a great spot to do it over on the Ecom Season Instagram, okay? So here's another one right here. Liam asked, if my competitors are selling a product for 30, but I'm testing it at 20 and it starts to take off, should I bump it to 30 immediately or slowly increase it? And I really like this question because one strategy that we show inside of our program, again, if you actually want help, if you want to actually run an e-commerce business and it's not working for you for whatever reason, maybe you haven't started yet, go through our e-commerce program. We have two different ones: the performance dropshipping that shows you all the business model, all the resources, we give you suppliers, talk about processing, all that stuff, talk about credit cards, everything, or the Facebook ad program. Both of those you can find linked below. We talk about this one strategy where we'll lower our testing price so that we're probably losing money on purpose. So you might be getting a product for $9 and you can probably sell it for 25 to 30, maybe even 35, but we'll purposely test it at 15 or 20, way lower than anybody else would ever have it at, because it doesn't really make sense. And your cost per purchase, you might be actually losing money directly. And that's a strategy because if your product isn't selling at $19.99, why would it sell at $29.99? Right? So it's just kind of a way to get more purchases faster and you get out of that testing phase. So for people who go through our Facebook program, it's a little bit more of an aggressive program in terms of how we teach how to scale. So if you want to take the aggressive approach, meaning I want to get out of the testing phase as soon as possible because I want to start scaling aggressively as soon as possible. We don't show you how to start making $1,000 a day or $2,000. I mean, I'm showing you examples of here, this store is doing $2 million a month. This one over here is at 600, like it's larger numbers. There's obviously people in the industry with way bigger, and you got Jeff Bezos and whatnot, but it's something where you show that aggressive strategy. So it is a good strategy, lowering the price just for testing and data purposes, right? Now, as for bumping it up immediately, should I bump it immediately? I would not. If it's working, you need to get your 30, 40, 50 purchases, start building some data, and then slowly do it. Go from the $19.99 to $23.99. Right, to $27.99, and then to $29.99. And if it's still working and you haven't seen a large drop in your conversions, you could go beyond that. But just remember, it's the first number that's usually that ceiling. So there is a difference between selling a product for 29 and selling it for 30. People associate it with a whole higher category. They associate it for being in the 30s versus in the 20s. That's psychology in sales, especially invisible sales, which is known as online marketing, right? So you might, at that point, if it works at 30, like $30.99, you could probably sell for $34.99. And at that point, you might as well be able to sell for $39.99 because it's so close to 40. So it's like, you can try and you slowly do this. You never want to just jump or be too aggressive. And if I raise it and it works for one day, I'm not re-raising it the next day. I let it sit for at least a week or two, doing consistent 10, 15, 20 sales because I want to see how it actually affects things over a longer period of time. So a couple of great questions. Appreciate you guys. Hope you enjoyed this video breaking down a couple of those. If you have any more questions, leave it in the comment section. If you want to see how you can work with our advertising agency, book that free call down below. You can check out our e-commerce programs as well as some other fun stuff. All right, make sure to drop a like. I'll see you in the next video. Peace.